station, you and all your complications. Oh, oh, oh. But I wanted to be your everything, your everything. I won't let it go, I refuse to let it show. Unforgivable, you won't break me down, I won't let you run me out no more. Unforgivable. Your eyes so venomous, I just don't know if I can trust no more. Oh, oh. Ooh, you're scandalous, you crushed my heart and twisted up my bones. Oh, oh. But I wanted to be your everything, your everything. If you would have shown me anything, me anything. I won't let it go, I refuse to let it show. Unforgivable, you won't break me down, I won't let you run me out no wanted to be your everything, your everything. If you would have shown me anything, anything. I won't let it go, I refuse to let it show. Unforgivable, you won't break me down, I won't let you run me out no
Standing on the edge, watching traffic pass, and this river shine like broken glass. Everybody wants to believe there's something more than this. Yet to hear the word of a higher power, from the streets to the tallest tower, haunted by the questions unanswered, my world begins to spin. Oh, and then stars align up, it hits me like an atom bomb. Oh, and sometimes I see enough
is the end of the road. Welcome to the edge of the world. Patience gonna die when you're too fast. We gotta savor to build the things that last. We gotta keep momentum alive to escape the choke. Hold of time, watch out now. Dysfunction will drown your way when the floodgates break. I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore. Well, this is the end of the road. Welcome to the edge of the world. You gotta slow down, gotta watch your step. Now you may fall into oblivion. The jaws of oblivion. The jaws of oblivion. Needless to say, we need a change. So stop burning the candle at both ends. Apply the brakes immediately for a new focus, aim, and clarity. Watch out now. Dysfunction will drown your way when the floodgates break. I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore. Well, this is the end of the road. Welcome to the edge of the world. You gotta slow down, gotta watch your step. Now you may fall into oblivion. The jaws of oblivion. The jaws of oblivion. If you'll stay here by my side, don't think you will. This is our time, no turning back. We could live like legends. But legends never die.
전 세계 스타크래프트 1 브루드워 팬분들의
What's up, guys? What a special day it is today.
The legends never die indeed.
Brood War is back. This is the first Brood War finals casted in English from a studio. As you can see, the game clearly never really went away. And what a special finals it's going to be as well, Arctos. This effort against Bisu, a Zerg versus Protoss.
Guys, the epicness of this cannot be understated. Seriously, get out there and tell your friends. Let everybody know that this is happening. We have Bisu, the greatest Protoss of all time, going up against Effort, the second best Zerg at the prime of StarCraft 1. It does not get better than this.
And we're going to be bringing our players out now. First is Bisu. This man revolutionized the way we understand Protoss. He was the one that really pioneered effective, fast expanding against Zerg. That, of course, helped out in StarCraft 2, as everybody knew to fast expand right off the bat as that game came out.
That's right. What he has done has echoed through eternity in RTS.
And I believe we're going to be bringing his opponent out now. Absolutely solid, fantastic Zerg effort. He went from StarCraft 1 to being one of the very great StarCraft 2 players, and then eventually switched back into this game that we're going to be casting right now. And these two players are duking it out to be crowned the champion of Brood War right here, right now.
That's right, and so many people have shown up today. It is so packed in here, we literally can't show you. There aren't cameras with lenses good enough.
I think we're already beyond our maximum capacity.
Oh, by far. You can't even.
I know that there were. We actually had a hard time getting into the building when we first came down.
And there's so many more people here now. There's not even standing room left. But this is such an epic match, Tasteless, and I'm so happy to be here casting this with you.
Yeah, this is a real treat. We had to do a lot of begging, a lot of whining here at Africa to get this. So we really hope you guys enjoy this. We are going to have this translated. Sojung coming over here right now to get, well, get this, so we know exactly what these players are playing. Sojung, have a seat and tell us what's going on.
Guys, hello. You know who's missing his eyebrows, right? It's because of this like personal bets on AfreecaTV.
He removed it, right?
Yeah.
옆에 김정우 선수 아직 보이거든요. 매정우 선수.
Well, this is
어떤
effort.
마음가짐으로 부셔버릴 건지 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
Let's see how he's gonna wreck him tonight.
오자마자
Well, as soon as I came today, I wanted to like just grab him. It's because of effort that he lost the bet.
근데 뭐 이미 지나간 일이잖아요.
Well, the past is the
처음에는
past.
뭐 적응이 안 됐고
Well, I couldn't adjust to it at
아침에
first
일어나니까 제
with having no
거울을
eyebrows.
보니까
And when I was looking in the mirror,
보기가 싫더라고요.
I just didn't want to look into the mirror.
네, 근데 뭐
A little background here. They had a bet and he lost
Yeah.
it, and therefore Bisu had to remove his eyebrows before this
Right.
match here tonight.
왔습니다.
So yeah, I'm just here to make that revenge today. Past is the past. So you know, Bisu in the waiting room, he was just like just trying to grab onto his like hair, what's left of it, I guess. Well, it's all because of effort here. Effort has also made a promise. He says he's going to win against Bisu tonight. I think if he loses, he's going to shave off his eyebrows today.
Oh, really?
I don't know where this is going, but yes.
I don't know where this is going. Hopefully we'll have our eyebrows by the end of tonight, though, you and I.
Well, he said he's waiting. He got this like sort of revenge right here, and then if you have it, you can shave off your eyebrows with it. Well, I'm gonna win tonight, so that's why I made those kind of promise. So Effort is just saying he's not gonna, you know, shave off his eyebrow because he's gonna win. He's confident. Yeah, I'm confident.
김태경 선수보다 더 어려운 상대를 꺾었습니다.
Recently,
MS 마이크로소프트를 잡아내고 근데 윈도우 7에 적응이 끝났습니다. 이제는 여러분 보셨죠? 결승까지 올라왔어요.
He's made it to the finals.
이제는 무서울 게 없잖아요.
He's nothing.
예전에
He's scared of nothing.
뭐 지금은 코밖에 안 보여가지고.
What I can see from here is only his nose. So
브루드워 실력이 아니다 코다.
it's not his bird war skills that I'm scared of. You know, I don't even see your eyebrows. I only see your nose. I'm threatened by your nose. You know his nickname is 코 태경, nose 태경,
I did not know that.
because his nose is very big.
예상 스코어.
네 번째 판, 다섯 번째 판은 연습 안 했어요.
Well, I actually didn't practice for the 4th set and the 5th set. You know why? Because I'm gonna win.
He's saying he's going to have a
Yeah.
3-0 against Bisu. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
뭐 상대가 김태경이니까 네
Well, it's
번째,
Bisu.
다섯 번째는 생각도 안 하고 오늘 뭐 눈썹도 지키면서
He's gonna protect his
상금
eyebrows
가져가고
and take all
오늘
that prize
김정우
money.
선수가 그런 큰 그림을 그리고 왔는데 김태경
Effort
선수는요.
has those big
선대으로
plans.
질 줄 알고 연습 안 한 것 같아요.
I think he didn't practice because he's gonna lose 3-0. We're not gonna even get there.
김정우 선수를 잡아내기 위해서 얼마만큼 준비를 하셨는지 이 가슴 속에 시커멓게 좀 타들어가면서
He must be burning inside right now because he just wants to kill Effort right now, I guess.
준비를 떠나서
Well,
그냥 그 대회 때 이제
Above all things, you
긴장을 안
know,
하는 게 가장 중요하다고
I think it's
생각해요.
important that you
오늘
don't
뭐냐,
get nervous for offline
긴장을 좀 안 하는
competitions.
게 저의 첫 번째 이제
My
기준인
first
것
mission is not to be nervous, not to get nervous.
김정우 선수의 눈썹을 보세요.
Well, look at Effort's eyebrows.
매 문양을 새겨 주겠습니까 오늘?
You can shave a bird on that eyebrow. You know, Effort has a nickname called 매정우 because he kind of looks like a hawk,
저거는
Did not know
그냥
that.
like an eagle, I guess.
없으면
I don't know how to say it, but his nickname is
눈썹이
매정우.
없으면은
So if you don't have an
그나마
eyebrow,
눈썹이 있기 때문에 되게 사람 같았는데 그냥 눈썹이
you're not gonna even look like a human being. That's what Bisu just said to Effort. You're just gonna look like a bird, I guess.
괴물.
A monster.
와 눈썹 없으면 괴물 된대요.
You know, you look like a human being because you just have eyebrows.
이고 나서 생각할 문제인
But
것
I think this is a problem that I'll think about after I win.
그럼요 오늘요. 만약에 질 경우에는
I don't know what I'm translating right
I
now.
know, this is going to be the weirdest translation you've ever had in your career, Sojung.
Keeping their eyebrows. I think this is their mission right now.
그래도 승자 인터뷰 같은 것도
예.
성춘 형님이 해주셨으니까
Well, talking about the winners interview,
네.
해주시면은 좋을 것 같은데
오.
그럴 일 없을 것 같아요.
I don't think there will be any winners interview.
경기에서 김정우 선수 진다면은 그 유명한 지금 청도 소싸움 중계하시는 분 있거든요. 자 앞으로 이제
We're talking about 성춘, our commentator.
전문 중계진으로 준비를 하신 임성철 씨가 그 눈썹을 밀어준대요.
He will be shaving off one of these players' eyebrows, I think.
김태경 선수 좀 여유가 있어 보이는데요.
Oh, is that what's going to happen at the
Yeah,
very
one of
end
the
here?
commentators is gonna shave off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Bisu says he's got nothing to lose, I guess, which is kind of
Stakes are
apparent.
higher. He's already shaved his off.
네, 저는 뭐
Well,
다 밀렸기 때문에
I already shaved mine off completely, so I don't think there's much to think about other than games. But you know, Effort has to think about a lot of
부담이 많이
things.
될 것 같아요.
So it's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of pressure for Effort.
아닙니까? 그냥 경기에 집중하면서 우승할 수 있어요.
Asking if he can concentrate on the games.
일단 재밌으려면은
If it has to be fun,
눈썹이 안 밀려야 더 재밌거든요.
it's much more fun. It's gonna be much more fun if we win and then I don't shave my eyebrows. So I'll try to keep that eyebrows.
과연 최고의 선수 바트 360의 최고의
Let's
선수가
see
될지
who's gonna be
여러분
the winners
준비되셨죠?
for our finals today. And I'll switch over to Dan.
Thank you for translating that very bizarre, awkward interview, Sojung. Good job as always. We are ready to start this match. A little bit of backstory. Bisu lost a bet to Effort, and the bet was that he had to remove his eyebrows before this match. And that's what they're talking about, in case you're confused about why people are discussing this.
Indeed.
And he's saying if he beats Effort will, I believe, have to move at least one eyebrow. And we'll have one of our commentators do it. So it's not just about the glory, the money. It's also about keeping the distinguishing features on your face as well.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a big deal right there. Well, guys, seriously, get out there and spread the word.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful game. The beginning of esports is here right now for you.
This
And
is the oldest esport. It's always been around.
this, yeah, I mean, this is it's
is
a
what
great game
started
to
it all.
watch.
Yep.
It's a beauty. So.
저는 처음 시작할 때만 해도 결승은 진짜 되게 멀게 느껴졌어요. 내가 저 두 명 안에 들 수 있을까? 또 그 무대에 대한 좀 환상? 다들 경기에 열광하는 그런 모습들 그런 것 때문에 결승 무대가 좀 많이 그리운 것 같아요.
거의 5년 만에 결승에 올라왔는데 예전 프로게임단 있을 때처럼 이번 데뷔하면서 좀 열정이 좀 생기는 걸 느꼈고요. 사실은 좀 낯설어요.
저는 하나씩 이제 컨트롤 굉장히 잘하거든요. 뭐 저글링이나 히드라, 뮤탈 뭐 하나하나 유닛에 이제 들어가는 듯한 느낌인데 저글링이라도 난입이 되면 굉장히 까다로운 선수죠.
결승이라면은 당시에 이제 최고의 두 선수가 붙는 거기 때문에 저도 이제 태경이 형이 가장 최적의 결승 상대라고 생각하고 더 좋은 결승 상대가 없는 것 같아요.
세세한 컨트롤이 굉장히 뛰어나지만 크게 운영으로 다가갔을 때는 제가 좀 많이 이겼던 그런 상대 같아요. 초반에 이제 저글링 움직임이나 뭐 유닛 컨트롤이 굉장히 뛰어나지만 중후반에 이제 넘어가면 좀 약했던 것 같아가지고 제가 좀 어떻게든 후반으로 이끌어가자.
저번 대회 결승 봤는데요. 태경이 형이 좀 저렇게도 질 수 있구나 생각하면서 일장의 경기 스타일을 분석하면서 좀 습득하려고 노력을 많이 했거든요. 태경이 형이 생각지 못한 대로 흘러가면은 약간 말리는 게 좀 약점이었던 것 같아요.
옛날에 했던 경기들 좀 찾아봐야 될 것 같고 뭐 준비했다고 하더라도 그 무대에서 즉흥적으로 바꿔나갈 수 있는 것도 이제 저의 능력이라고 생각해요. 그날 가서 제가 이제 자신 있는 플레이들로 할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
제 실력을 끌어올려서 최상의 컨디션으로 경기하는 게 가장 좋은 공략법이 아닐까 생각합니다.
우승하면 두 손을 번쩍 올리겠습니다.
제가 우승할 당시에 당대 최강이던 이영호 상대로도 그때 승승승도 해봤는데 뭐 태경 형이라고 제가 못 잡을 거 없을 것 같고요. 자신 있습니다.
정우야, 너 윈도우 7으로 바꿨더라. XP 아니면 못 이기잖아.
오늘 코가 너무 커지신 것 같은데 믿고 제가 납작하게 해드리겠습니다.
It's almost time to start this match. If you have never played Brood War before, don't worry. We are going to be here to hold your hand through this cast. We'll be here to educate you. It's going to be a fantastic match. If you like anything about StarCraft 2 at all, you'll certainly enjoy this game as well.
If you like anything about being alive and being part of the universe, you're going to love this cast because
much better
this
said
is,
than me.
I mean, this is the original esport game, guys.
Yes.
This is the best Protoss of all time. In fact, there was like a certain phrase, it was called the 6 Dragons.
That's right.
In StarCraft 1 because Protoss was very hard to play at the top level. But unless you were a top of the world pro gamer, it was really easy. But it was so hard that there was literally something called 6 Dragons, and he's
all
ahead
these guys,
of that.
yeah, all the 6 Dragons, they were the very best of the best with Protoss. They each had their own play style.
Completely, like you could
Bisu
cover the
was
names
the
and
head
watch.
of the pack
Yeah.
with that.
And I mean, Protoss played very stylistically in StarCraft 1, kind of like StarCraft 2,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, he is the best of the best. He is the one that changed Protoss vs. Zerg completely into a very multitasking-oriented matchup with fast expansions every single game. None of this 2-gate crap anymore.
Protoss is the race that, in this matchup specifically, that evolved the most. It started out with 2-gate rushing.
Yeah.
You'd apply pressure with the Zealots, try to get the Zerg to make as little drones as possible, eventually expand or bust the Zerg. Then there was experimentation with quick gas builds, getting a Corsair out, getting Zealot legs out quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of different ways to approach the game there. And then finally, some Protosses in Korea started fast expanding. Now, back in the early days of Brood War, if you went fast expand as Protoss against Zerg, people would leave the game and refuse to practice with you anymore because they looked at it as a form of cheese. Clearly, there should be no way that you can get a cannon up, make a nexus, and actually hold it, because to be frank, it took years for people to get that whittled down to such a science where you can always basically survive it. He managed to do that, and then that changed the way we see Protoss versus Zerg for the rest of time. When StarCraft 2 came out, everybody was fast expanding. It stayed like that, and people have really engineered and enhanced his strategy since then.
And Bisu, like, he didn't just pioneer the beginning of the matchup with opening with fast expansions. He also pioneered a very multitasking-based approach to playing Protoss vs. Zerg. Like, this guy doesn't technically have the most APM ever of a StarCraft 1 pro. There's, like, actually, like, 5 or 6 guys ahead of him in that.
Sure.
But I have stood behind every StarCraft 1 pro and watched them play back in the day, and he seems by far the fastest. Like, when you stand behind him, you're like, holy God, he is just blazing
Sometimes
around.
when you see players with high APM, there's a lot of redundant actions put in there. He is one of the most efficient players you can ever watch.
He's everywhere. And in fact, I remember a long time ago I was talking to Noni about this, who was one of the best foreigner Protosses ever that played in Korea for some time. And he said this really beautiful and wonderful thing about Bisu. It's like, everyone thinks they understand what he's doing, but unless you can move that fast, you can't really understand what it is that he is doing in this game. And we had very limited ways to look at these games. It was rare to get a replay.
Well, this is back,
you have to watch on a VOD where they keep cutting to the audience and stuff. So it was very hard to even understand at all
even
what
following
he was
a replay
doing.
at all. I mean, there weren't the tools that there were in StarCraft.
Yeah, there's no production
to help
tab.
You, analyze and follow everything. So you'd actually have to watch a replay like 5 or 6 times.
There was no timer.
That's right.
I mean, it's so different, and the amount that he revolutionized it and the amount different that he has played than everyone else in StarCraft 1, and like without him, the game probably would have needed another balance patch, to be honest.
Yeah, he just changed the way that we see this matchup. For a long time, Protoss has had a very difficult time against Zergs, and eventually he showed us a way to approach the game, and he's still on top. He may be the best player in Brood War in the world right now. It's very possible. The only other one that could be the best in the world right now would be Effort, who is his opponent. He's looking absolutely fantastic. Effort, what can you say about this guy? He is the most well-rounded Zerg that's currently playing StarCraft Brood War that you could ask for. I mean, he's got perfect control. He knows how to fake you out, which a lot of Zergs are not as good at with. He can go right into a macro game. He knows how to switch techs, adjust strategies, depending on the maps, fake you out in a best of 5, giving you false information to make you read some of his builds later on incorrectly.
Yeah, I tell you what, unless Jaedong decides to quit StarCraft 2 and go back to StarCraft 1, this is the best Zerg that you are ever going to see play this game.
Yeah,
because
that's very true.
StarCraft 1 no longer has the giant scene that made these Titan players. So literally, guys, this is the best Zerg you are ever going to see ever in StarCraft 1, going against the best ever, period, for Protoss.
Yes.
Like, there's no one that can retire from StarCraft 2 or return and be better than Bisu because he's already the best.
But let's not forget, Artosis, if Effort crushes Bisu here today, we're going to have to try to reevaluate who is the king of Brood War tonight, right here, right now.
Well, this should be an amazing match. As you can see, they have played against each other so many times, and almost, it looks like 4-2 in Bisu's favor here.
Now, note the years here this was happening. So take that with a grain of salt, okay? We are in 2016 now, and the most recent result we've got right now is from 2011. So, I believe StarCraft Brood War is 18 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's like old enough to die for its country, but to not buy beer.
That's right.
But it's a very old game, so there's a lot of history here with these two players.
And it's important to note one of those things that we saw there, where Effort and Bisu played at IEF 2009. Effort also managed to beat Artosis at that tournament.
The great Artosis.
Yeah. I don't know how he
managed
managed
him into a casting position with Tasteless. Seriously, this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, we're going to make sure this is very informative and educational. This cast, we do not want new people to come to this game and feel left out or feel alienated. We're not going to throw around so much jargon that you can't follow it with us.
No, absolutely. So seriously, guys, get out there and spread the word. This is a beautiful game, and we're seeing the revival of a lot of the greatest esports of all time.
I don't think any of the old esports should go away.
Smash Melee is getting such great reviews right now, and people are still supporting it and watching it and loving it. There's no reason we can't do that with Brood War as well.
Absolutely.
And have Brood War and StarCraft 2 side by side.
If we get enough viewers, enough support, enough love to that Africa Twitter account, we might have this become a regular thing, guys.
Yeah. It's I would love to be able to cast this more often. That is an epic sweater right there.
That is staying with the holiday season right there.
Yeah.
This Bisu sweater.
It
A
looks
lot of these
so
players,
warm.
they like to wrap up when they're in the booth. That's why you will see a lot of players in jackets and things like that, because you do want to keep your body warm. It allows you to have your hands moving more quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Only person we ever knew of that did not seem to like to have a very warm booth was actually Jelizer.
Yeah. Kind of weird, but to each his own.
I guess, yeah. There's always going to be at least that one guy who's doing the exact opposite thing, and it works for him.
Well, just looking at who Bisu went through to get here right now. Very excited for this. I want to ask you what you think the outcome of this is going to be.
I think it's going to be 3-2 Bisu, but if it's 3-2 effort, I will not be surprised or disappointed.
I think it is going to be a Bisu victory with 3-1 or 3-2. The guy is a monster. Let's not forget that he left StarCraft 2 before Effort did. So
that's true. He's had more time to train.
Yeah, and straight up, he was better than Effort in Brood War when back in the prime when everyone was still playing.
Correct. Yes.
So yeah, I gotta side with Bisu here.
Guys, let's not forget, this is the hardest, most mechanically demanding game in the world.
Yes.
If you haven't played Brood War, you have to remember everything must be done manually.
Yeah.
You have to manually make your workers mine. You can't have more than 12 units in a control group. You can't select more than one building at a time.
Yes.
Which means if you take a look at your keyboard right now, all the way from the left side 1 across that to 0, everything's going to be bound to something.
And let's not forget, you can't change hotkeys. For instance, Bisu has to press P to make a probe,
which is
P to make a pylon.
Which is on the opposite side of the keyboard as the key A, which he'll be hitting a lot of to attack.
Yes.
So the acrobatics that involve the left hand in this game are crazy.
Yeah.
And there's really never been anything like it. And one of the things that, although it does make the game at times incredibly inaccessible to a new player, it also has this brilliant comeback mechanic built inside of it, because let's say that you get more bases. Let's say that you get a bigger army.
Yep.
Well, then that's more tasks to juggle. The guy who's behind has less he has to deal with, and that can always allow for a way to get back in. Anyways, let's get hyped. Let's get ready. This is game number 1. Bisu against Effort here in the banned Brood War StarCraft League.
All right, Circuit Breaker going to be our first map here.
That's right. It is a best of 5, by the way.
Damn, that crowd is hyped, man.
The crowd is so hyped up in here.
Hope you guys are hyped as well.
In the upper right, in the red, our Protoss player, Bisu. No zoom in here, man. This is not.
Nope. When you zoom in, you'll never know how much money they have or what's being made.
In the bottom right, in the blue, our Zerg player, he is Effort.
Alrighty. Very excited to see what Bisu wants to open with here as far as strategies go. I'd love to see some of these big macro games out of Bisu and Effort coming up.
I think we're going to have a lot of that. So let's assume that Bisu is going to, he is going to fast expand, as we can see right here. Zerg has a lot of different ways to play this against a fast expand. So although the fast expand build is good, there's a lot of ways Zerg can exploit that. Zerg can go for some quick rushes. There's a variety of those. They can go for trying to break them with Zerglings. They can go for Hydras with range, busting down the entrance. They can also go for flying into the main with mutas as fast as possible, even dropping lurkers. There's a lot of very crazy things, which is one of the reasons why it took years and years for Protosses to figure out how to do this build. Bisu pioneering, or pioneering, as I messed up my words there, that path to that. Now, important note, this is a 4-player map. Yep. And unfortunately for Bisu, he's scouting the upper left, whereas Effort's Overlord is already headed northbound to Bisu's starting location.
Yeah, he's going to be able to peek in and see exactly what this is right away, which is a gateway, forming a wall in front of that natural. In the meantime, it is a pool first here for Effort. There are things like cannon rushes in this game, so Effort choosing a pretty safe build going with that earlier pool.
One of the burdens for Protoss when they're doing a build like this is that you have to tailor the build based off when you find them. So you have to gear up and be prepared potentially for some kind of a 4 pool, which would be the StarCraft 2 equivalent of the 6 pool back in the early Wings days. So he has no idea what's going on just yet.
And for the large amount of StarCraft 2 players that I'm sure are checking this out right now, gates don't turn into warp gates. His units will always just pop out of there
just like
after
they were
they're
at
done
barracks
building.
or something.
Yes. And they will always pop out of that bottom left corner, by the way.
Now, the version of this build that he's doing is a pressure fast expand. So he's saying, okay, I didn't get my Nexus up because I wasn't sure if I was safe. Looks like he didn't, four-pull me. But he's going to try to apply some pressure here.
Yeah.
He wants to get the Zerg to make some Zerglings while he slowly expands behind this. Because if Zerg gets too many drones in this process, Bisu's already automatically behind.
Yes, and also, everything is, like, pretty microable in this game. And you might see the Zealot and the Probe join up because 2 Zealot hits and a Probe hit is going to go ahead and kill a Zergling. And that's something that you can absolutely micro in this game, which you don't really see in StarCraft 2 because of the way the units move so quickly.
The AI in StarCraft 2 is pretty clean here, but the fact that this is a two-dimensional game, you're basically on a grid. You can do a lot of cool tricks with micro. So he's staying back here, and the problem right now for Zerg is that Zerg has to deal with the Zealot. Now he's going to probably park it in between the minerals right here.
Yeah.
Notice how he's going up to try to engage these 2 lings. Now he'll probably run behind the minerals here. He's just buying time.
Yep. Picking off a few Zerglings. Of course, he's forced some Zerglings out here to have to deal with that Zealot.
That's right. And you can actually outmaneuver somebody a little bit more easily in Brood War. So if you're really good with the micro and they're not on top of it, you can keep that Zealot alive for an ungodly amount of time.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Another probe comes down here. He does need to get inside the main and see if possibly gas is being mined here. And also check for the third base as well.
And he's going to find that third base quite quickly here. By the way, sorry about my voice and a little bit of coughing. I actually woke up with a cold this morning.
Yeah, Artosis is a little bit sick.
So sorry about that.
That's how sick of a game Brood War is. It infected Artosis already.
Indeed.
But great build so far here by Bisu. You can see that even though he had to get his Nexus up late, he did force out Lings. That wall-in is tight. By the way, buildings don't exactly wall-in Brood War like they do in StarCraft 2.
They're very wonky.
Gotta be careful. Yeah, so...
you really have to test a lot on how to make the correct wall-in that you actually want and know where the holes are in every map. Of course, these maps these guys have been playing for a long time. They know them inside and out and exactly where to put everything.
Yeah, every map Protoss has to have the exact building placement mapped out perfectly, or Zerg can slip through with Lings and you'll just lose the game.
Well, the probe actually going up to scout. By the way, you have to see minerals to walk through things with a mineral glide. So you can't just like click on the minerals and go through Zerglings on a ramp.
I would have never thought to mention that. Yeah,
you can do that in StarCraft 2, but not in StarCraft 1.
So Zerg is gearing up. The 4th hatch is coming. Again, there's no larva injecting queens or anything like that in Brood War. But it's very important you spend your larva efficiently. You can't have more than 3 larvae there. And we're going to see the Stargate build. Clearly, he's not afraid of having effort know about that. This is the most typical and probably most effective version of the Protoss Fast Expand in Brood War is to get the Stargate up. You want to start using Corsairs. Now, you can combo that with either Dark Templars or Zealots with speed. And in very rare cases, you can end up going for Reaver drops. But I think that's a conversation for if we actually see that coming up here, because that's probably the most unorthodox approach to the matchup.
And to talk about this Stargate tech, the Phoenix doesn't exist, the Void Ray doesn't exist. The Carrier does exist, but it's not really used against Zerg. What you're going to see here
Terran
is going to be the Corsair. And the Corsair does splash damage. It shoots super fast and does splash damage against Zerg.
And that's going to be a big problem for your Overlords. All Overlords can detect, by the way. You don't need to turn them into an Overseer. So they can all see any DTs. And Zerg, of course, need to use that to get around the map. But because they have to have all these Overlords spread out, and Dark Templars are a much bigger threat in Brood War, by the way.
Yes.
Much bigger threat. Protoss can usually bully the Overlords away and then try to snipe an expansion. Oh, now this was an overextension here by Bisu. Oh my god, Effort totally baited him out. He was only showing half the Lings. Protoss are always trying to apply pressure in moments like this. They're always trying to get you to make some more Lings, but he was hiding enough Lings and allowed Bisu to get far enough out. He then trapped him and swallowed him up.
And that really kind of wrecks his strategy. He was probably wanting to go ahead and get charged pretty quickly. He's already getting +1 for those Zealots right now, so they can 2-hit the Lings. So that was really good. And with these Hydras coming out, losing 4 Zealots is not acceptable.
Absolutely not. Not against the macro machine that's going to be Effort in this game. He's already massing up Hydras. This is sort of a catch-all against what Protoss can throw at him. He can go ahead and defend his Overlords. He can have a fair fight against the Zealots. And that's actually forced him to make a third cannon back there at his base. That's got to be frustrating.
Pretty rough. A Templar Archives on the way. Now, that is the tech for both High Templars and Dark Templars. So he's going to be able to go ahead and make whatever he wants out of that. Now,
this is an overextension. He shouldn't be out this far.
Zealot's trying to go ahead and deal with these Zerglings. They will clean up the Zerglings rather quickly, but the Hydra's going to kill them very fast.
That Zealot is going to have to go AWOL right now. And he can start applying pressure if he sets this up just right and start tearing down the entrances. This is forcing a lot of cannons out of Bisu. Also note, I believe it was +1 air attack was being upgraded, the cybernetics score.
Oh, it was?
He's going to have to send his Corsairs over here.
Yep.
That's the build that he's been doing as of late. I don't believe that he's getting Dragoon ranges early. That was a little bit of an older version of this.
Yeah.
But he's going to send his Corsairs over here into the main. He has to try to get some Overlords. Already, Effort is prepared. Effort has Hydras back at home. At every hatchery, actually.
Yeah, and Hydras in this game, they're cheaper than in StarCraft 2, and they're kind of like more expendable. They're like roaches in the fact that they're very expendable. He can make a lot of them.
They also deal damage about just as fast.
Oh, yeah, no, they're still a great, fantastic unit for sure.
And this is great. He's going to be able to take out the, I believe it would be the +2 attack upgrade here. Over at the Forge. He's trying to just soak some damage there, but it looks like he had that targeted down. So +1, no +2 as our observer's showing us here. That's a problem. I got to say, Effort already has done everything completely perfectly this game.
He really has, and Bisu's not finding any damage with these Corsairs right now. We're going to have to see if he can possibly take down some Overlords. He does have a Dark Templar out. One of the scariest units in StarCraft Brood War. All right, so he does have charge as well. Only 2 Zealots to back that up, though. It's going to be up to this Dark Templar and a couple cannons.
Probes. And unfortunately, the probes didn't get over there in time. Workers are a lot stronger in Brood War for AI reasons that I can probably highlight a little bit later on. But if you can have probes and, for instance, a Zealot here attacking, if you notice, you can right-click on your middle pad, just push the probes through them. And then what happens is the units that are underneath the probes or on top of the probes have to readjust while they're still taking damage. So I got to say, unbelievably, Bisu will survive this attack, but will he survive the next attack that's already headed towards his second base?
That is the tough thing, because now he has Overlord speed upgraded. We do have 4 more cannons on the way, so Bisu realizes he's in trouble. All right, going to start poking at these Overlords, but a simple micro of pulling them over to the side here is going to allow them to stay alive.
Right now, the Hydras are coming up. He's going to try to get these Overlords from behind here. No, he's actually just going to try to dive into the main. The Zealots are out here in the front to try to buy some time. The cannons, very strong, but they have to be finished up here before they're going to have any utility. Templar is in position. Let's see if Effort can dodge the Psionic Storm here. We also got to remember and ask ourselves if Effort is possibly overextending here. It's still 3 base to 2 base.
Well, he's making a lot of Hydras. If he ends up losing all these, he could be in a lot of trouble. Quite a few cannons actually coming up. Bisu realizing that he's going to die if he doesn't have these. He's lost so many Zealots this game. Wow, really great Storm. Effort actually eats most of that. Some of the Zealots actually kind of running out here. He wants to make those other cannons finish.
He's got to pull these probes here. All right, that's going to be enough to pull him back. Remember, probes with any other attacking unit, same with drones, any other attacking unit, SCVs and any other attacking unit, it's very scary, very difficult to deal with. Oh my God, he slipped 1 DT in here. There's not enough to defend. He backs up. Probably not clear how many Hydras might have been able to come down. If he loses that 1 DT on the map, it's going to be nearly impossible to get anything else out here.
Well, that's the only way for him to really get any damage done right now. He has a handful of Corsairs. They aren't doing much. We do have the Spire about to finish here. And that is, I mean, this is looking really tough for Bisu right now.
It is. What Zerg's doing right now, he's making lurkers outside the entrance. Lurkers in this game are pretty similar to the lurkers in StarCraft 2. He wants to get probably a light contain setup here. Now, there are some cases where you can stay on Hydras and try to just contain the Protoss and not let him out, but that can be pretty tricky. Already, Bisu on top of this, he's going to try to force some attention to be drawn away from the outside of his base by killing Overlords inside of Effort's base. Eventually, though, Bisu is going to have to break out of here and acquire a third.
Now, he does see that Spire there. He's got to be really careful with these Corsairs. There could be Scourge about to pop out. This is not the critical mass of Corsairs that you really need to kill the Scourge before they can hit you. You can make enough Corsairs that basically nothing hits them as far as small units like,
Scourge, by the way, are like banelings in the air, but they don't do splash damage. Whenever they connect with something, it almost always dies or nearly dies. Oh my God, he has those on. Okay, hold on. We got to talk about
lurkers.
This is a technique where you make the lurkers not attack via setting them to hold position with something like an Overlord on it. But when you do that, you can conceal the location of the lurkers. So he could actually wait for the probes to transfer there and kill all of them if that's his game plan.
Yeah, there's a lot of different little things that you can do with that, whether unleashing those spines during a battle or against the probes. Definitely a very deadly move there. It's risky too, though. Like, what if he just happens to get an observer and bring it over there? Well, the lurkers are going to be taken out easily.
Okay, Bisu's doing a really good job with these Corsairs. He's flying out now. Effort had some amount of a contain here. By the way, the new style. Ooh. Oh, no, he's going to save it. He's going to save it. Oh, man.
This is patience for you.
Oh, my God. All right, he's doing it right on the Templars. Beautifully done.
Oh, man. And now the Zealots have to run away. Effort truly outplaying Bisu so far in this game. But you know what? We have the robotics up. We have a bunch of Dragoons as well. Dragoons kind of like a Stalker, but like, way stronger.
They're like
they don't blink.
Like a Marauder with longer range, no stim and concussive shell.
Yes.
It's like it's hard to explain. So what we have here, and this is the game that Effort wants to play. He wants to have his Hydras jump in and gun down this observer. Well, I don't see any Overlords here, so I guess he can't do that at all. But in an ideal situation, he would have done that.
Just lost like 3 Corsairs there, by the way.
We're in the next phase of the game. Bisu's broken the... I don't know why I can't say his name. They like Bisu or whatever. Bisu's broken the contain. Now, Bisu has to scramble to get another base up here, but he's also got to get out on the map and start applying some pressure. Nice flank here with some Zealots.
Yeah, doing a very good job right there. He's got to be careful not to just bleed in, but there's not really enough Hydras with these 3 High Templars coming up.
Zerg do get in a bad spot if they stayed on 3 bases for too long while trying to play like this.
Yeah.
Instead of going for a harder macro game, he went for like, I guess what you could call like mid-range Zerg. Not too all in, but not too economic. And Bisu's now out on the map. And that's always a problem for Zerg. Zerg ideally would like to have the Protoss face them right outside the Protoss's base.
Yeah.
At least in certain phases of the game.
Well, right now, Effort is moving his entire army up around the top side of the map. He might be going to snipe this Nexus right now, but Bisu has a giant army. So if Effort gets caught out of position here and a couple storms land just right, he is going to lose a lot of supply.
By the way, he's kept that DT alive this whole game, poking around. It's actually really impressive. Now, it looks like Effort might want to set up so that if Bisu attacks him, he can come in here and wipe out the 3rd. There's not a lot of minerals left here for Protoss. Protoss has to have a 3rd up. At the same time, though, it seems like he's stretched pretty thinly as well. The Effort is. I'm not sure if he can attack a head-on assault and hold it off.
Well, it looks like he is going to go ahead and hit this 3rd base. A very nice attack, and it looks like Bisu going to turn around to try to clean up these Hydras, but he is going to lose this 3rd base before he can.
Don't forget, guys, the more units you have, the more control groups you have. So the bigger of an army you have, the harder it is to control, the more unforgiving it gets.
Oh, nice Size Storms coming down all over these Hydras right now. A ton of them being shredded. Going to try to run away with the rest.
He actually left his observers away from his army, which I suppose is okay unless they get spotted by Hydras and Overlords and gunned down. Hive Tech has started right now for Zerg.
Okay, the Hive Tech, this is where it can start to get very, very scary indeed. Ultras are very scary in StarCraft 1. You know, they deal a lot of damage. They aren't nearly as big, so they actually can run around a lot better than in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, they're much less clunky.
Yeah, much less clunky. That's a very good way to put it. And don't forget the Defiler, one of the scariest units in the game.
Absolutely. Throw a Dark Swarm down. That's where no ranged units can deal damage within the Dark Swarm. You can send a
It's
dozen
like Blinding
Zerglings
Cloud, except it doesn't bring the range to 1. It just makes it so ranged units can't hurt anything.
Exactly.
That means only Zealots.
Very extreme ability. Or Reavers, for instance. But
yeah,
even then. He's going to go ahead and try to secure another base up here. He's actually double expanding, Bisu is, because he's been on his back foot for most of this game. Now, if he does go for Ultralisk, he might need to get one more base up here. I'm not entirely sure the math on this. I need to get Day9 on my speed dial here to ask him that, since I played Protoss and you played Terran in Brood War. But I believe you need about 5 bases to properly support Ultralisks. I think you can do it with 4, but it's a little bit more wonky. He may just stay on a more basic tech, getting the Zergling Adrenal upgrade, getting Cracklings in this game.
Yeah, that is an absolutely fantastic upgrade against Protoss, especially. Deals so much damage so quickly. And, of course, the Defiler Mound that I was talking about before. This is... It's such a scary unit. Okay, it has Plague, which does 300 damage but won't kill anything.
It'll
bring it down to 1
HP.
And it doesn't really... you know, that's okay. Like, you have shields as Protoss, so that's cool, I guess. But the Dark Swarm is what's going to be really scary here.
Yeah, it'll also depend on how spread out Bisu gets here. Bisu should be able to hold his 2 new bases without having to worry about Dark Swarm as much, just because they're close together. But as they expand out further, that's where Zerg can really start to harass different areas. And it looks like they're both just going to be expanding towards the west here.
Yeah.
And teching up steadily. Zerg, by the way, is going to end up with an army that's so big you can't even control it with every single group hotkey. So he's going to have to start possibly dropping into different locations. Hold on, he's going to actually hit these 2 different locations at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like he wanted to hit in there with his Zerglings. In the meantime, the Hydra's actually hitting over here, but that's a very small force. That's just kind of to distract him, and it's almost like a light contained to that side as well, so that, you know, Bisu can't just sneak out a small harassment force or something.
Another cannon coming up here. Protoss usually make a lot of cannons. There is no mothership core or, you know, Nexus cannon or pylon cannon or anything like that. So the cannons, by the way, for Protoss, quite strong in Brood War. Can definitely take on a lot. They deal damage shockingly quickly and detect just like they do in the in StarCraft 2.
By the way, high ground advantage, very different. But hold on, we actually have a lot of Lings running here. I can talk about that in a moment. It looks like Effort's moving his entire army right now. Just look at that mini-map. You see streams and streams of Zerg. You know, this is, of course, because he doesn't have enough hotkeys to move it all together.
Yeah, he's coming up here now. He's having this spread attack. And as they parade in like this, he's bringing some lurkers down here right now. 2 observers over this. I don't see any overlords in sight to help gun this down with the sheer number of dragoons. Okay, here's the overlords now, but not enough Hydras now to help out.
Yeah, well, he has more units coming up right now, and it looks like he started trying to go after the observer. I'm not sure if he actually... Nope, didn't end up getting that observer.
Didn't get it.
2 observers still left over here.
And he's going to continue to spill up here. He's going to try to disjoint these 2 bases so that they have to defend with their own little squads.
Well, looks like right now trying to go up this little ramp. It's not working out too well for him, but he does burrow that lurker, so getting that splash damage down on these Zealots. Oh, very nice morph for these 2 eggs.
Yeah, that's actually a wall. That's actually a block there, so those Hydras can stay behind those eggs. By the way, Zerg is not going to stop producing at this rate. He's going to try to overrun him. And hopefully he can cause a divide between the top center base and the upper right side of the map. If he can isolate that, he can take that out. But we got DT drops over here. That's going to be a problem if Zerg keeps spilling his entire army northbound.
It certainly can be, but you know what? Those Cracklings doing a great job wiping out just about every Dragoon. Like, Dragoons just can't fight against Crackling. You need Zealots, you need Psystorm, you need Archons, you need Reaver, something like that.
He's wiped out the drones in the main. 13 kills right there. Looks like the rest of the map is fine as far as his income goes, but he could actually start taking out some critical tech structures in there as well. For instance, the Spire, no Scourge. That's going to make your observers a lot safer.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just taking out that Spire in general is going to be very nice. You don't have to worry about any Mutalisks even as well. An Archon does get morphed in here. Look at that. Finally, this DT will be cleaned up, but damn, did he do a good job.
Yeah, this is actually a brilliant job here by Bisu. I got to say, I think a lesser Protoss player would have been overrun right now. Zerg is going to have to regroup and recoup here. Zerg continues to expand to the bottom left. Generally speaking, you see more bases taken in this iteration of StarCraft. It's much more likely that you'll have maps that actually mine out.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case. That would be pretty sick if it happened this game.
Yeah, that would be
pretty wild.
Yeah. I would love it.
It's not totally improbable though. Now he's going to try to draw some of Bisu's army out here towards the upper center while he hits the top center base, which is right up here.
Yeah, Zerg units everywhere right now attacking into these cannons at this 4th base for Bisu.
You know, he might have split this army just perfectly. I think he's going to end up getting one of these 2 Nexuses.
You very well may. Some Psystorms and Zealots come over here. Actually, some observers starting to be taken out.
Yeah, got to keep these observers alive.
Yeah, he does morph an Archon, but it looks like this Nexus is not going to live for much longer. Bisu may hold on over here with all these Psystorms and whatnot, but I mean, losing that 4th base is a big deal, especially since Effort's already taken another.
That's it, he taps out. GG.
Wow.
Effort wins game number 1.
Really, really well done, I have to say. I think that the problems for Bisu really started there with the loss of the 4 Zealots into the loss of the rest of the Zealots that came out to try to kill the Zerglings right as the Hydras were coming. That was, it didn't work out for him, and to lose that many Zealots early on as Protoss against Zerg is so unacceptable. You're just never going to be able to take your 3rd in time.
You're absolutely right. Also, let's remember that strategy that he was doing back there, Effort, it was not easy for him that endgame to overrun the Protoss. The bigger of an army you have, the harder it is to control. That's the invisible comeback mechanic that was an unintended consequence of multiple, only having 12 units you can put into one group.
Yeah.
So it's much tougher to be the aggressor in a lot of moments like that because it's harder to dive in. Bisu did a great job defending, but ultimately he managed to get that next to the top, and I don't blame Bisu. This is also a stamina matchup as well.
Yeah.
Might as well go into game number 2 with a clean slate.
Yeah, certainly. He knew at that point he just wasn't going to be able to get anything done. He made some great strides fighting back. That TT drop, for instance, did so much damage.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, he survived what I thought were going to be killing blows each time.
Yeah.
When those Hydras actually broke down the cannons, I thought there's no way. He managed to survive that. Managed to eventually get that third base up. He even lost those 2 Templars to the hold position lurkers.
Yeah. That's so brutal to lose those 2 early High Templars as well.
Pretty cool stuff. Tell your friends to join us here as we continue to cast the Brood War Finals for you guys. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 2, effort against Bisu.
Lies, please just let me go. You strung me on for far too long, so I gave up everything about myself, so I didn't feel alone. My magnetic heart still grasping on, afraid to let you go. Feelings based on your expressions, expressed in the way that it's sort of depressing. I was just my pain, I'm entertaining my oppressions. Some days I wonder what it'd be like if the light in your face never glowed. I'd rather live in dark just to know I would rather rock than explode. These bombs are exploding inside my head, but I've never been more alive. These shadows of the dark just stride around with a little less pride. I've dampened the spirits and I've set them aside. Now I'm walking alone with no alibi. This life I live is all my own. Can't take that back if you try. If you love me so, please let me go. Can't take you back if I try. That are living inside my brain won't acknowledge the fact that I'm staying positive despite the impossible. With a common logic, it's something as simple that rhymes with orange. You're provoking the knowledge that comes from a Berkeley star dropout. How come I need acceptance? Do you feel the same or am I alone? I'm always second guessing myself, instead I pretend. I don't feel any pain when it's not my body's aching, forsaking the decision to stand up again and pretend that my knees are shaking. I'm scared of my own voice and what it might tell me, so I just write it down and hopes I'm not the only one to see just how crazy I sound. Handwritten in truth is the ink that bleeds from my skin. Please bear with me and beg the blurry details I've sinned. This life I live is all my own. Can't take that back if you try. If you love me so, please let me go. Can't take you back if I try. It's all my own. Can't take that back if you try. If you love me so, please let me go. Can't take you back if I try.